Other interesting political news, you have Biden proposing to take marijuana from a Schedule 1 to a Schedule 3. Perhaps this will boost his poll numbers. Now, this comes straight from the horse's mouth, or the donkey's mouth, since he's a Democrat. And again, I don't know who's in charge of marketing. Donkeys for the Democratic Party, which are stubborn, or elephants for the Republican Party, which are also stubborn. Again, I don't know who's in charge of the marketing, but it's not great. Now, again, this comes straight from his X-Twitter profile, and he says, quote, "Too many lives have been upended because of our failed approach to marijuana. Today, the Justice Department is taking the next step to reclassify marijuana from Schedule 1 to Schedule 3 drug under federal law. What this means." And he's going to attempt to speak as well. I apologize. I usually say their voice is infinitely better than mine and more articulate than mine. Ooh. This might be a coin flop or a coin toss, folks. If you're someone who continues to tune in the show, you know I have my speaking blunders to say the least. Let's see who spoke better today. That might be a fun thing to say in the comments, but nevertheless, there is good old, what is it? I call him, I forget what his new nickname is. Is it Dirty Joe? It's a lot of people who support Biden have seen this nickname resurgence or come more and more to the forefront. But without too much further ado, and he at least did suit up. He did something right.
This is monumental. Today, my administration took a major step to reclassify marijuana from a Schedule 1 drug to a Schedule 3 drug. It's an important move toward reversing long-standing inequities. Today's announcement.
Let's keep track of the camera shots. Let's see if you can see I'll do a thumb count here. Because again, this is also another critique in comments is you can't get this done in one take, which means more often than not, it means you have to stop, and give him some more energy drink or something, and then have a restart this little clip. So
this is monumental. Today, my administration took a major step to reclassify marijuana from a Schedule 1 drug to a Schedule 3 drug. It's an important move toward reversing long-standing inequities. Today's announcement builds on the work we've already done to pardon a record number of federal offenses for simple possession of marijuana. And it adds to the action we've taken to lift barriers to housing, employment, small business loans, and so much more for tens of thousands of Americans. Look, folks, no one should be in jail merely for using or possessing marijuana, period. Far too many lives have been upended because of failed approach to marijuana, and I'm committed to righting those wrongs. You have my word on it.
That was 7 or 8
This is monumental.
They had to stop the camera. And interesting enough, he does have an American flag on his lapel pin, or for his lapel pin, which is pretty rare in DC these days. Usually they have other countries that care more about in terms of their swag, which, I think about it, I do need to upgrade my suit and get one of those lapel pins off them interwebs, or go to brick and mortar. Not sure where I'd find that. Maybe Men's Warehouse? Partially digress, that's not the point. But yeah, how many camera shots was that? And again, the most hilarious thing off the top of my head is the hypocrisy. Or as Norm might say, you know, he did some good things, but the worst thing was the hypocrisy. Which, yeah, is a terrible Norm impression, I'll give you that. But his VP famously put, 1,500 or 1,600 people in prison for smoking marijuana in California, Kamala Harris. And when she was asked on a talk show, do you partake in the devil's lettuce, she laughed. So the same gal who put people in jail was using the substance herself, and she thought it was funny. Yeah, they got sent in jail. We got cheap labor because of it. That's Kamala Harris, which, of all the people to pick as your VP, that's one of the worst picks ever. She doesn't pull well with anyone. Like, she even win the primary in California. One of the most unelectable people on the planet. And granted, her speaking skills are worse than mine or even myself, maybe. I don't have a venture to say. But yeah, another big controversial topic is the schedule of marijuana and the perceived crackdown on it. You have many states that are just refusing to enforce any laws at all when it comes to substance. And yet, a friendly reminder, if you enjoy your Second Amendment, don't do drugs because they can then take it away. Don't lie in a 4473. There's quite literally a question that says, are you addicted to illegal substances such as marijuana? And granted, if you and I lie in that sheet, we go to jail for, I think it's 10 plus years and, what is it, 200 grand? A big penalty. However, if you're Hunter Biden and you lie in that, you get basically no penalty at all. I partially digress. So again, this is straight from Biden's Twitter profile. So we should see comments from the left and the right and the middle, everyone equally critiquing him or giving him accolades. Because again, in terms of political moves on chessboard, this is a good move. I don't agree with it. I personally don't partake in it. I understand. I have some libertarian friends who enjoy it. Personally, I'm someone who's much, on the go, wanting to grind, work it out. I'm work 105 hours a week. I'm more of a caffeinated, want to get stuff done type of personality or lifestyle, you would say. And to me, I never saw the appeal. I understand some people do. I also don't see a lot of benefits of having a whole neighborhood smell like weed and you have kids in that environment. I don't think that's a good thing. But I understand from libertarian perspective, it's your own thing. So again, in terms of moving on the political chessboard, I do think this is a good idea from Biden because I think we've seen the pendulum switch. We've seen the pendulum move again. Maybe Biden speaks better than me. Let me know in the comments. That might be a close coin toss of a poll who speaks better or worse. But I think the pendulum has actually swung past couple of 10, 20, 30 years where more and more average Americans don't really care about marijuana being prosecuted as a crime. Now, that being said, there are people actually in jail rotting away because they actually took marijuana and smoked it or ate it or whatever they do with it. That is very few in between. It's usually people who are in jail are distributors or resellers. They're more the high volume type of thing. But again, a lot of people I think will appreciate this action. Now, it was interesting, of course, I think he proposed this in 2022. Now he's trying to repropose it. But again, it's also election year. This will get him some votes because I don't know if it's enough increase in the because again Trump and Biden are kind of neck and neck in most polls. Some demographics, Trump is increasing, but I think politically speaking, I understand why he's doing it. Well, it's pandering 101, but there are a lot of Americans who like drugs and they don't want police to spend time and resources on it. A lot of people would still call it a gateway drug, and obviously there is the ripple effect with most things in life. But let's go to the comments. Maybe everyone is going to say, yes, thank you, Joe, I'm voting for you again, or you just won over a new voter. Dive in the comments and find out. One of the first comments comes from Biden himself. So actually, what is this one? Well, let's be honest, it's probably Karine Jean-Pierre, White House press secretary, who's actually typing this, as she's been caught multiple times where she would send something in the vernacular was from Joe, but it's from her personal expert profile, which again should be illegal. If you're a politician, you should have the front-facing camera verify you. That's my 3 cents. But we'll say allegedly, President Biden actually typed out saying, right now marijuana has a higher level of classification than fentanyl and methamphetamine. Did I pronounce that right? Maybe. The two drugs driving America overdose pandemic. It just isn't adding up. Unquote. They got 4,000 likes. Now, not a good reason to close the border. That's where all the fentanyl is coming from. Manufacture of the raw materials are in China, then they go over to Mexico for the actual creation, distribution, they come across the border with basically no effort in terms of resistance. So, I mean, if you really want to crack down on the worst drugs, the more harsh drugs that are more detrimental to society, well, might be useful to have a wall or just a couple soldiers or something instead of the futile attempt that is there now. Really, the only thing stopping there right now is the great country, or some might argue the great state of Texas. I'm sorry, Texas. Got to pronounce it properly. Although I'm a little remiss, I'm not wearing my cowboy hat. It's on the shelf behind me or to my left. A little tall, I can't just grab it without getting up. I should have that closer for these reference points, but I partially digress. Biden also says, at my request and guided by scientists and evidence, HAS and DOJ have studied the drug's medical use and abuse dependency and potential are recommended for rescheduling, including reclassification would remove barriers to critical research, unquote. I mean, it's been around forever. How much more research do you really need? But I digress. He also says, quote, no one should go to jail for just using or possessing marijuana. I was going to say, I should bring some props on the show, like a pin. Like, I want to hear the pin drop. Your VP proudly put people away for smoking marijuana. Like individual users, not just distributors and resellers and dealers. Now, okay, partially digress. Biden also says, quote, today's announcement builds on the work we've already done to pardon a record number of federal offenses for simple possession of marijuana. I'm committed to righting these historic wrongs. You have my word, unquote. That got 4.9 thousand likes. You mean the wrongs of your VP? Again, he chose one of the worst candidates. I mean, personally, again, politically speaking, I think most of my preference is mostly libertarian. In terms of Democratic candidates, I mean, Tulsi Gabbard. I mean, I've listened to all the folks during Democratic primary years ago. She was the most articulate, and I think she had better policies and ways to fix problems than her other competition for the Democratic Party. And he didn't choose her; he chose Kamala, which is maybe because she'll just do whatever she's told. I mean, the prime example of failing and sleeping to your way to the top in the United States. Now, let's go to the real comments. You also have, again, another fact check. He says, no one should go to jail for simple possession of marijuana. Again, very few are. The people that are, especially federal, I mean, the people that are spending long time in jail is when they have copious amounts, like preposterous amounts of marijuana. granted, some might argue just announces preposterous. I know you need more quantifiable vernacular in that regard. And that's why some obviously states have their limits in terms of, they do have that in law in terms of the amount of possession. But yeah, nevertheless, Paul Zupa says, quote, Biden has allowed 10 million illegals into the U.S. He's trying to legalize more drugs. Ask yourself why. Getting 650 likes. Biden's wins, which I'm already following. I was going to say, that is hilariously ironic. So Biden's wins, which, I mean, A+ for marketing, you know what you're getting. It's someone who's very pro about the Biden administration. And they quite literally describe themselves as, quote, keeping score with President Biden's wins, the largest online community of President Biden's supporters. Also followed by Mark Hamill. And that profile picture of Biden's wins is Biden walking down stairs on an airplane, which he famously fell up the stairs multiple times. So that is kind of fun. But they did say, let's go, Joe. And that got 752 likes. Andrew Rester says, don't reschedule it, deschedule it, unquote. Getting 1.6 thousand likes, which, again, rescheduling it would still be illegal, but less illegal. Now, in terms of the slippery slope theory, very similar to California. Now, California used to be a felony of the state if you were to steal an item that was like up to $950. They changed that to a misdemeanor. And after that, now you have district attorneys. Again, the public justice system, usually you plead down so that way they can avoid actual court instance. And that way you could save the state time, money, energy, and resources. Very much a volume business. And when California decided to say, all right, up to $950, that's no longer a felony. We're going to start a misdemeanor. You move the goalpost down here, and you're down voting or down negotiating even more, which is why one of the reasons California has become so lawlessness, because district attorneys don't really prosecute crime. They're pleading down from a lower price, or I was going to say lower price point, so used to business vernacular, but a lower, I was going to say law-breaking offense, lower offense point. So, I mean, I understand a lot, because again, rescheduling it would still be illegal, be less illegal. There are many people who want it completely legal, which I have some libertarian friends, I have some Republicans and Democrat friends who they all want that. I'm pessimistic to see if that would ever, I'm not sure if that'll happen in the short term. When I say short term, 5-10 years, maybe longer out. You also have a lot of pharmaceutical companies that would not like that because, let's be honest, there's also a huge financial incentive for alternatives such as painkillers. I know that's one of the reasons many people say they want to use marijuana. But nevertheless, back to the comments, you have Sassafras84 saying, Kamala put a lot of people in jail over marijuana, pandering to votes. A 1.4 thousand likes. RT says 8 cuts in 45 seconds. You're getting better. Yesterday was 5 cuts in 15 seconds. This is Joe. Once you get to the debate stage, there isn't any do-overs. Like we're getting 202 likes. Armand Hamouz says Biden's speech to America. He's certainly been working hard. Unquote, getting 335 likes. So again, this is one of the most successful posts that Biden has had on social media the past couple of months. And usually it's, say, 75% negative in ratioing him. This is much closer to about 50-50. One Donna Sue says, let's talk about this, and it shows the inflation rates between 2020 to 2024 and stuff costing between, what is it? I think the lowest statistic is 40% increase all the way to 100% increase across myriad of categories, including, coffee, bread, ground beef, Cheerios, bologna. Bologna went up 42.48% under Biden in office, which not good for parents. I don't know any adults who eat bologna, but I understand it's not good news at all. That got 168 likes. Sam says, love it. Blue Heart, Blue Wave. I don't know how mentally vacuous she is because maybe she makes a profit. She has to make an affiliate link profit on that. But every time I look at a Biden post, she is consistently there just giving 1 or 2 words of accolades. And she does a repost of this vote t-shirt. And it's the Tide logo, but instead of the Tide word, it says vote. And it says removes stubborn orange stains, which is kind of funny. It's a good pun, I would say. It's a good little parody shirt. I'm sure whoever made that shirt design is probably make, I don't want to say millions, but a couple hundred thousand in revenue at least. Now that did get 3 likes. She usually only gets 1. Franklin says, thanks President Biden for doing something Trump didn't have the guts to do. They got 534 likes. Let's see. Give me 3 cents. Says Kamala, hold my beer. Kamala Harris. Tulsi Gabbard destroyed Kamala during the debates. It was remarkably impressive. Now, Tulsi Gabbard said, quote, Kamala Harris put over 1,500 people in jail for marijuana violations and laughed about it when she asked if she ever smoked marijuana. That got 105 likes. That's a quote, obviously, from Tulsi Gabbard. Ochi says Joe Biden needed 8 cuts in 45 seconds to make this video. I got 552 likes. Murphy says it's legal in Canada. We didn't go nuts, and the government gets added tax revenue. Win-win. Well, yeah, Canada is also a tyrannical place that takes away your freedom of speech and freedom to own guns and defend yourself, and forces you to take the jab. So perhaps they just want you dumb and slow and stupid. I mean, it's easy to control people that are on substances that take them away from reality. Now they reminisce of things like 1984 and Brave New World. Both great novels, very not sad, and a spoiler alert, but oddly reminiscent and accurate of modern society with each passing day, which is quite concerning. Now you also have Kadashi's Ghost saying thank you, President Biden. It's about time. Getting 138 likes. Burt Macklin says your VP jailed a lot of people over pot, getting 488 likes. See here? 3-year Letterman says this is disgusting, Joe. I'm a youth football coach, legend, and I can tell you that the sensible injections I have forcibly administered into my players are much healthier than weed. Steroids come from birth, but weed is run in a lab and cook. Getting 685 likes, which I thought the cliche that people brag about weed is that it grows from the ground, which is a rudimentary reason to use it. And we always say, oh, it's got to be good for you. It comes from the earth. You should smoke it. So does cocoa plants. So does cocaine. That comes from the ground. That's one of the most rudimentary, moronic arguments I've heard throughout the years. And I understand there are some legitimate arguments. I've looked at this issue. Personally, this is not even the top. This is an issue I could care less about in terms of it will never sway my political vote one way or another. But yeah, it is fascinating to see so many people make it their whole personality and, what do you call it, lean into it. Oh, this is a great picture. So Pismo says, did you know, and this is a mosaic of Kamala Harris made out of all the black men she locked up and kept in prison past the release date for cheap prison labor. Kamala also oversaw 1,900 convictions for marijuana offenses. And yeah, that is a quite horrifying thing to think about. And yes, it is a mosaic picture of all those men's mugshots, and got 338 likes. And of course, she does has her signature creepy smile in that picture as well, which some might argue that smile is as creepy as Ron DeSantis or Dylan Mulvaney or even my smile. They're not great smiles. I know the cards I was dealt in life, but that did get 338 likes. One bad dude says, how many people did your crackling VP lock up for weed? Getting 398 likes. Let's see. Dark Web Informer says, how about making it legal to be in with sleep leave, Joe? Got 121 likes. When Carol says, thank you, Mr. President. Dark Brandon, more getting crap done. It clearly has to be an AI generated image of Biden. He's got, what is it? I mean, it does look cool in terms of the image. Is someone, what is it? It's a gentleman in a vest, a long sleeve shirt, and a tie, holding a thing of whiskey and smoking what looks to be a cigarette. He's got like a nice thick goatee and the signature aviation glasses. Looks like there's a hashtag or a copyright ideal or literal apology. I think that's what it is. I mean, it's a good AI image, or maybe someone painted that? I'm not sure. But yeah, I mean, a lot of people are going to appreciate that Biden did this. That got 244 likes. And again, it might be approved by tomorrow. Who knows? By the time the video is rendered and uploaded. But, I mean, right now it's being proposed. We'll see. Benjamin Wanderer says, this is, it's funny. There's some words there's some words that will always be associated with someone. Like Trump, it's always, China. I mean, with Biden, I mean, his catchphrase, I don't know if someone already made like a pull string doll for him. Maybe Xi Jinping has it. But, yeah, it's one of those things where Biden, I mean, everyone's going to know him in terms of vernacular. He's always like, come on, man. Come on, man. I say it because Benjamin starts his sentence saying this is huge. And I just immediately thought President Trump saying, this is huge. He would probably say. But nevertheless, Benjamin Wanderer says, this is huge. I don't care what side gets this done. It makes the lives of millions of Americans better. Unblocks research. It makes it harder to use lawfare against citizens. Like, we're getting 50 likes. Sorry, 60 likes, actually. Kurt says, why is the government so hard on it? Geez, it's even legal in Minnesota. Just lift the federal restriction. It's not that big of a deal. Getting 42 likes. Now, that being said, we've seen the slippery slope theory being proven time and time again. You go to Oregon, basically make all drugs legal. I believe it's up to, was it half an ounce or some number? I forget what it is. And their state went downhill very quickly. And they also banned plastic straws, which shows their priority. So they made drugs legal in Oregon. They made it illegal to have plastic straws. And the culture quickly decayed into lawlessness and homelessness and terrible things. Those are the priorities over there. So let's see here. What? It's just a picture of Biden smiling, and somebody named Jenny says, all the weed in the world can't fix this. It's just smiling. Biden smiling, saying, I suck, getting 112 likes. Joel Keith says, if I had a fiver for every time I've heard this out the years, I'd be donating it all to your campaign. Well done, President. Now make it happen, Captain. Unquote. Hear Captain every once in a while. I got 50 likes. So again, it looks like a couple of people critiquing him on his border policies or lack thereof, showing waves of migrants or illegal aliens crossing the border. A lot of people saying, what about Hunter Biden? These are getting between 0 and 50 likes. So let's see here. All right, 25 likes from Kenny saying leaders who have locked up or leaders who have their political opponents arrested. Yeah, and of course it's Joseph Stalin, Adolf Hitler, not Ho Chi Minh. He loses me at the moment. I was out, and then Biden got 25 likes. Or Ming. That probably is. See here. So a couple more people giving me accolades. I mean, it's by no means 100% ratio in terms of positive. I mean, that being said, this is probably one of the top things that he said in terms of getting some positive feedback. Is almost 50-50 positive for him. And for social media, that's very rare. Again, it's not a direct correlation to social media to voting, actual results at the end of the day. But yeah, I can't help but think, could this be the thing that puts him over the top with the upcoming election? How many people will be attracted to this proposed policy? And could it get people to vote? Because again, there are a lot of Americans that actually don't vote at all. And the voter turnout in the U.S. it's never 100%. But do you think this could get that percentage higher in terms of voter participation rate? And do you think it'll get people who are maybe libertarian or maybe in the middle to go over to Biden? Personally, I don't think it'll even be 1% necessarily in terms of the total votes that will be moving over to him. I think overwhelming majority of Americans are worried about the economy, 40-year hyperinflation rate, wars, having our resources sent to other parts of the globe, high interest rates, thanks to the government printing more money than ever before. I think those are kind of the top priorities when it comes to most people votes. But let me comment in the comments. Do you think this will be one of the top issues for voters during this upcoming election? As always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Thank you everyone for taking the time to tune in. Again, try to get 4,000 subscribers by the end of the month. So if you could click that button, I would greatly appreciate it. Also, leaving a thumbs up, thumbs down, or comment is a great way to give me some additional feedback, letting me know how I can make the show better and better. Lastly, don't forget to take the time to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone and everyone. Just stay safe, fight the good fight.